is a special setting, of conversation between two people, as we know that sometimes one place or the other, we are always in the interview condition. So I have no hitch, and hiccups in saying and admitting that I am really afraid of interview. Why I'm saying? Because it is a normal thing that I feel nervous, because when I go back home in the evening, my wife interviews me all the time. So I keep mum, and I have not yet discovered how to face the interview particularly when it is taken by your wife. So I think this is the thing that is still I'm looking for. That somebody must tell me that how to face interview if your wife interviews you. So in interview, it is always a condition that at times I am the interviewer, or at times we become the interviewee. But at this particular time, we all the aspiring participants, we are envisaging and looking for our role as interviewee for a particular interview. It is not that tough, because it is not a normal and a typical job interview. It is department promotion committee interview. You are already inside the organization. So let me tell you that please just bring out your fear from your inside. No longer required to fear that anything, adverse can happen. Nothing adverse can happen if you face the interview. So at the outset, I'd like to tell you and congratulate you. If you attend this class, you are already successful. Okay? So, as far as the DPC is concerned, the Department Promotion Committee is the interview setting from the inside organization. It is a setting for looking for and selecting the best lot and the candidates from the internal sources. Interview is still most relied and most effective method of selecting and diagnosing the leadership skills among the candidates. So there may be hundreds of, you can say, candidates. Out of hundreds, how to just figure out that who is the most fit for the job as well as fit for the organization? So this is the only method, interview. So interview, you must have the objectivity like this. So interview panel or DPC, Department Promotion Committee, has a very formal structure. There may be 4 to 5 panelists in the panel. One from HR, one from the line function, another maybe from the allied function, and one the representative from SC/ST community, and one is the you can say the external member appointed as a member of the board by the corporate. So there may be 4 to 5 people in the DPC. So I am giving you the picture. Now you visualize. On the day of the interview, you need not fear that anything out of the world will happen on the interview day, that I don't know the people. Mostly the people in DPC, they are from the inside of the organization with whom you are familiar and who all know about you already. So this is the structure of DPC, Department Promotion Committee. The Department Promotion Committee has a role of selecting and diagnosing and seeing and looking into the traits and behavior and attitudes of the candidates, and the interview panelists, they have the weightage for 20 points. So the interview, when you face the interview, it is only 20 points, but it is not only 20 points for a particular moment. For 15 minutes, for 10 minutes, on whatsoever time you take or the panelists take to interview you, is the most crucial moment and it decides your fate in the company, or your promotion, or your, you can say, excellence. So this is the moment that you have to give the best performance and forget about the result. You don't bother about the result, that what will happen. I don't know, the panelists, they may be they may be biased, or there may be prejudices. No, there's so many preoccupations that come across in our mind. So please click all these things out of our mind. You are more empowered, you are more competent, because you have already proved your competence when you are inducted in the organization. It is only about performing 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever time the panel takes to perform your best. And I'm here as a facilitator to just help you visualize that particular situation, that how it looks and how it appears, and how as a candidate you have to perform in that particular situation. Visualize the people, 4 to 5 panelists, that it is an opportunity for improvement. It is going to show you that what are the areas that you need to improve. With this philosophy and with this attitude, if you face the interview, then you are a real winner. So coming back to the topic, so interview is a normal situation, and it is a conversation between two people. We have this situation all the time. At times we are interviewee, you are interviewer, or I'm interviewer, you are interviewee. It happens like this, But DPC is a particular setting where there are 4 to 5 panelists. They will interview you, because they are assigned with the task of selecting the best candidate for the job, who is the most fit for the job as well as most fit for the organization. So how to know that you are most fit for the job or you are most fit for the organization? So just to perform best on those lines, the entire strategy or the approach can be classified into 2. Understand? One, we call it the technical approach, and the second is called behavioral approach. You understand? So as technical approach is concerned, it is nothing but your deposits and acquisitions as a professional during these years. This is your content. So technical approach is nothing but you can say it is what you speak, the content part, and the behavioral is nothing but the style part, how you perform it. And the entire session, I would be delivering on what and how. In terms of what is about your deposits that you have learned in terms of your knowledge, your expertise, your know-how. Understand? And how you perform those and how you speak out those contents during the interview session. This is the content and style. The content and style that I have picked up these 2 terms from the leadership philosophy. There is a leadership principle, content and style, and these terms I have picked up from there. So everybody, you have the content. The only thing is required that we have to brush up our contents, we have to restructure it, we have to reorganize it, we have to refresh it, and we have to perform in a more desired way. No, what is the style, the preferred style while facing the interview? So the basic delivery of mine is on what and how, the content and the style. So what happens? See, now in interview, here is mostly and generally it is freewheeling kind of interview. It is maybe unstructured, and because what you speak and how you speak will trigger further questions for the interviewer. So we have to be very careful while answering those questions, because the panelist is looking for a team leader, and not a personal storyteller, and not a personal achiever. The panel asks you, tell me about yourself. It means that it may be a trap, by the interview panel, because how you're going to answer will depend further questions. So it is a kind of expecting question. So very tactfully you have to answer. So tell me about yourself. It is nothing, because panel is not interested in listening to your personal stories and achievements. Understand? Normally people say in experience sharing, when I was small, I was poor, I came in this company like this and that, and a whole lot of glorifications and all, and now I am this much and that much. So it is not like that. When the panelists ask you, tell me about yourself, they are really looking for a professional in you. They are trying to look into yourself, a team leader, a team player, a communicator, a resource mobilizer, and not the person who is engrossed and obsessed with himself and herself only. That I have this won so many prizes, so many achievements, this and that. No. Interview is an art, that how you speak and deliver, that you are a leader, you are a communicator, you are a team player. Most importantly, you are not the individual achiever, because they are looking for a person who works for synergy. Understand? Not just trying to be aloof, and just looking for personal achievements and incentives and all. So this promotion, DPC, it is a method of selection the leader from within all of you. It is not simply you can say winning the pay scale, enhanced pay scale, and just for showing off the category, of officers or engineers and so on. So they are looking for a more responsible person. They look for the team leader who can align with the team, who knows roles and responsibilities, who can administrate at the shop floor in a better way, who knows how to mobilize resources. There are always a resource crunch. If you're a problem teller all the time, and you simply telling a problem, it is not a leadership. When you solve and bring out a solution, it is the leadership, and it is a kind of the problem solvers approach. So normally panel questions you on knowledge, awareness of the function, organizational goal, challenges, how aware you are, what is your knowledge about the process. A small process you may be doing, but as an individual or a team player, you must be knowing that this small process, what you perform, is aligned with the bigger and the larger process in the accomplishment of the organizational tasks. And what are the challenges? How you can contribute your role in resolution of the issues and facing the challenges at the shop floor level. Firstly, you have to visualize your role, that what you can contribute at the resolution of the problem and issues at the shop floor level. Because tomorrow, if they promote you, you are an officer, you are an administrator at the shop floor, and you may come across a lot of problems, problems of the facilities at the shop floor, drinking water facilities, the facilities of, you can say, the material, the facilities of, you can say, small you can say facilities as per the Factories Act, that are, because normally as a shop floor manager you come across these problems, and how you deal with that. They want such kind of person who can deal, who can coordinate with the team, and resolve, and try to help resolve the situation. So awareness, firstly, knowledge is one thing, that how informed you are, but awareness is another degree. Awareness is a degree, and is more, you can say, another the higher level of how aware you are about your own resources, about your team, their potentials, their lacunas, and their energies, their strength, their weaknesses. So when you are aware of the functional team, organizational goal and challenges, you have to structure your answer like this. About that is what I have already told, roles and responsibilities, and you have to be ready with the individual plan, because as the panel always looks for a plan, individual vision. Okay, what is your plan for the improvement of this process? Whatever process you are and whatever functions you are, because if you are there and if you are blank, it does not give a good show, because you cannot be so blank. There must be certain improvements, and you must be ready with an answer or a plan. Sir, that I am working in this process for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and so on. What I have learned, that this is the process which requires improvement. When you say improvement in terms of, now you give improvement in terms of this process time reduction, improvement in terms of material availability, improvement in terms of communication, improvement in terms of resource mobilization, improvement in terms of you can say the team building, or the job rotation, and so on. So small things, and that you have to be ready with an answer and an idea that this is the area of improvement, and never say problem, or never say this is a negative kind of thing. The term we use, areas of improvement, and mind it, these are the terms which are globally acknowledged and recognized. When you speak out these terms, areas of improvement, these terminologies and jargons, they just demonstrate your positive attitude and your leadership skills, and how you can add value to that process. So you have to be ready with the answer like this. Please write down, structure your answer, rehearse it, as you have to be thorough about your job and your complete procedure, your complete targets, units targets, know your people and their roles, get familiar with the surroundings in the environment, prepare yourself for future tasks, visualize. Okay, the panel will say you, okay, Sahab, I promote you as an engineer in the same shop. Now you are a supervisor. Okay, you are supervising 50 number people, 50 numbers of these artisans, and I promote you as engineer. So if there is a tool down or stoppage of work by certain group of people for certain issues which has not been attended for many times, which is pending, so how would you address that and resolve that situation of a tool down at the shop floor level? And be ready with the answer to one problem only. Because, sir, I'm working in this shop for the last 5 years or 10 years, and I am coming across the problem regularly like this. So what I think, and to my mind, I think that if we address the problem in these areas, then we can resolve the issue forever. Thereby, we can achieve the shop floor production. We can contribute to the company's target and all. So you have to be ready with the answer like this. How you can this answer like this? Until and unless you are thorough about your job, you know complete procedure, you know company target and units target, you know your people and their roles. When we talk about your people, means everybody in the group, whether it is your boss your superiors, your this artisan, this fraternity, even contract workers. They are your people, because let me tell you, in this world of enhancing or enhanced outsourcing, contract workers, they are indispensable, and you can say a kind of integral part of the organizational process and a manufacturing. If you do not know, if you limit yourself to only your permanent artisan, then because it will really give you surprises, one fine morning, that the contract workers who really work, if you're not bothered about that particular segment, because when we talk about know your people, you cannot ostracize, or you cannot just ward off your responsibility towards the contract people, the outsourced manpower in your plant, in your operation, in your function, who are working, who are contributing the shop floor targets and the company's targets. You cannot visualize your role, you cannot visualize your answer to DPC's potential questions until unless you are aware of your surroundings, your vicinity, the surroundings in terms of the allied departments, your people in the next department, your support staff, support services, surroundings even outside the factory premises, the local inhabitants. The surroundings means the trade unions, people's representatives. How you can have the solutions until unless you are not familiar with your surroundings and environment, the surroundings in terms of your allied, in terms of your contract workers, your contractors, your thekedars, surroundings in terms of this vicinity, what is happening outside, the trade unions, people's representatives, your vendors, your suppliers. Understand? So all these things, administrative officers, district administration. In this corona time, it has really taught a lot of lessons, that we cannot be aloof. Before this COVID, let me tell you, this is my experience, that as an officer, we were thinking that we are an officer of this company, and we are living in the land of avenues, in a very four-walled township, equipped with all facilities and amenities of life, and enjoying world class like this and all. But in COVID, when there was a lockdown, we were running after for vegetables and groceries. We were requesting the local inhabitants to feed our people. As a COVID response team member, we were requesting local vendors to supply the family members of the quarantined people and isolated people due to COVID infection and all. So you have to be ready with the answer, the future task. When you cannot visualize your future task, then I'm sorry that you cannot answer to the question. It may be a superficial performance only. This is what I have already told and discussed, that we have to give an answer, and I'm focusing and I'm concerned with this word team player. It is very important. A better captain or a team leader. If we want to be a team leader, first of all we have to be a team player. That how, and now there are techniques, there are approaches how to speak like a team player, not an individual player and not an individual achiever. They are not concerned about, maybe you are Padam Shri, maybe you are, have a lot of accolades and the honors and recognitions outside, but you are not fruitful to a small process in the organization. You have a lot of publications. I write this and that, a lot of articles, publications and all. But as a team player, not contributed even a small, you can say, brick in the wall being constructed in the company. So we have to speak, we have to use those words and jargons. That is what I have. Respond to the questions like professional or a technical person of the field. This is very important. What happens that when we know that this is a DPC and the people are all these people, they are from our organization only, and we know, and who not know about me, all know about me. I am so popular. I am the most deserving candidate. So at times what happens that we know that I know this sahab, GM sahab, AGM sahab, and all are familiar, and because I salute every day to these sahabs, but in DPC these sahab will give you surprises. They will be stranger. Don't believe on the false salutations and the fake, you can say, that we always try to do. These sahabs will give you surprise in a DPC. They will be professional. They will, maybe at times they will create a stress. They will be questioning you one after another. All GMs, maybe one asks a questions, and as soon as one finishes, another will ask another questions. So you will be stuck up. You will be jumbled. Now they will just test you, that how you just come out of this situation. So be professional and answer those those questions, professional and in technical jargons. Always know the technical process. Try to understand what the technical process is, what you are doing, what this process is called, and how this process is aligned with the further process. In that process, you have to speak like a process owner, not simply like a stranger. And do not keep yourself aloof, that you are doing for a particular process for the last 5 or 10 years, but when you speak out, you become a stranger, that you don't own that process. So you're not a team player. So you have to act as if you are a team player. You use professional words and technical words of your field. Maybe because it is a team player's courage is what? Or a team leader. If certain thing happens, the panel will say you are not doing a good job in your area. I'm regularly finding that people are complaining in your area. There are no proper tools, people every day, it is an occurrence that people just stop their work because they do not have proper tools. What is your contribution? They may react or they may come out like this. Right from the beginning, they will snub you out and they will say, "Arey yaar, bekar hai, you are not acting properly." How you have to answer? Still, you have to keep your calm and you have to answer in a professional way. Firstly, you start like this: "Sir, I feel regret that if it is like this in the shop floor, and I will see to it and I will coordinate with the concerned department to resolve the problem as soon as possible." So it is the professional approach of addressing the questions. Please do not be argumentative. Tell me, sir, what is the problem? There is no problem. Tell me, give me any proof and evidence and like this. No, do not argue with the panel. If panel has a feedback for a certain thing, so say, "Sir, if it is like this, so I feel regret. I feel very sorry for that. But I assure you that as a team player, I will coordinate with the concerned department and try to resolve that issue as soon as possible. And from next time, there will be no complaint at all." At least when you say these lines with courage and with ownership, it creates an impression that you are a team player, you are a better captain, you are a team leader. They know that you have your own limits. They are not wanting you to write an affidavit notarized before or you can say the notary officer that you will solve this problem after becoming engineer. It is not like this. It is, they are wanting you to reply in a professional way as a process owner. Maybe for a technical process and the flaws, it may come a cropper, but you will not be held responsible because you are doing your part, and the way you have answered, it reflects that you are truly a team player, a better captain. Am I audible? Am I making sense? Hello? Hello?
Okay.
Dear participants, please hint me. Am I going right way?
Sir. So now his voice okay?
Am I okay, sir?
Yes, audible, sir. Please continue, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. As this part of the new team or gearing up for the new role, it is also incumbent upon us to look for certain documents which will guide us. I'm talking, and I mean by conduct, discipline and appeal rules. The supervisors and all officers and engineers, they are covered by the document. That is the constitution of the organization, which says that how a person, how an employee will behave. So that is also very important, because as an administrative officer or as an engineer, you have to understand your role, that your role would be to administer justice at times, to do justice with your team. The people in dispute may come to you that this is the Sahab, and the Sahab will make justice. If there is an indiscipline or misconduct or anything, that how will you do that? That is why I'm saying, I'm giving you this picture, because when you read that document, it will also enable you to answer the questions of the DPC with more maturity. That you are custodian of the discipline at the shop floor when you are engineer or in charge of a shop or a process owner. At the same time, the people involved, they are your people, they are your subjects, and you have to ensure their integrity at the shop floor and devotion to the duty. So CDA, the Conduct, Discipline and Appeal Rules, is very important document. It will help you, because as far as the documents are concerned, Sahil has given you a lot of things, that where you have to refer and to what document and what are the you can say the credible sources of information to structure your answer, to just brush up and your contents. So CDA is also one of the things that you must refer the document for your individual role in managing shop floor, in managing if anything happens unbecoming, if any misconduct happens. So you have to know, and what are the things as an administrator that are expected from us, and how we have to behave on the shop floor. That is why I am giving you the picture of CDA, and I will relate all these things, and I have given you one question, one situation, when there is a stoppage of work. All of a sudden a group of people stops working, there is a tool down, and you are a Sahab of that particular shop. Sahab, when I speak, means you are in charge. You are in charge of that process or a function, and the people deployed under you, they stop working one fine morning, and the important jobs has to be made ready for the inspection by the customer. and the situation is very burning, it is a firefighting kind of situation that comes up, that how would you deal with that situation as a leader? For that, CDA will guide you. That is why I'm touching up that, very superficially, conduct, discipline and appeal rules, that as a team leader, as a team player, not as a candidate. Now see, philosophically I may be just diverting just little bit from my main course, but you have to appear at this DPC interview with a bigger role, your bigger visualization. The more you read these documents, it will help you to enhance your role. It will help you visualize your future task and role in coordinating, in resolving the issues at the shop floor level, So this is one part that I wanted you to just touch upon. Okay, this is the small thing that as far as the fear is concerned, don't fear that anything adverse can happen. So nothing adverse can happen until unless you are in the company. It is not a job interview. The bread and butter is assured. So don't worry. It is just a promotion interview. You aspire for promotion. So don't give interview as you are aspiring for promotion. You give interview that you are ready for the new role, bigger role, and you are ready. Your shoulders are, strong enough to take those responsibilities as a team player. Now you are ready that you can handle people. You can align your team with the company's task. Okay. So one thing is that as far as the content is concerned, you have to content part, you have to brush up, you have to restructure your answer like this on these patterns. You have to be thorough about your process. You have to be aware about your resources, your people inside, outside. You have to be aware about the surroundings, the work environment and all. You have to know the company's targets, challenges, resources, and then accordingly you have to structure your answer. Write it, restructure it, brush it up, rehearse it, speak out before the mirror. All these things, these churnings will help you, and what will happen, these practices will really transform you into an opportunity for improvement. Don't appear in this interview for promotion. Okay? Now, okay, as far as fear is concerned, what I do before any interview, I listen to music, I'm really fond of music. I talk to my friends who are really, they are my best friends. Just have light moments with your friends and all before interview. And before this interview, you just speak to yourself that I guess I can. I'm the best. All right, it happens, Keep it up. Don't worry, the sky is the limit. The world is yours. You stretch your hand and take a deep breath, These are the things that will really help you before entering the room, the interview room. Taking